still in disbelief with how things were handled in terms of Kenpachi himself. This is such a huge W for the developers with the way they kind of handled it, and a huge W for us, the player base, in I guess having faith in the developers now going forward, right? Because obviously Kenpachi had his issues, you know, he wasn't performing as well as we would have hoped him to, and with all the issues that we kind of spoke about, the developers decided to bring out a buff, right, days later, and look at him now. He's an absolute cracked character, low investment. Kenpachis can now actually, you know, do what Kenpachi is designed to do, and that is just absolutely manhandle the enemy. So overall, this is such a positive note going forward with the game to how responsive the developers are in terms of issues like these, especially with characters, because this rarely ever happens. I'm gonna be honest, when it comes to like gacha games and whatnot, right? A character releases, there's issues on hand where it's not, I guess, doing as well as we, the players base, would have hoped it to. So they just decided to be like, alright, we're gonna buff him days later. That is insane. So gives me hope going forward now with characters not performing as well, us calling them out on it, and then who knows, a buff maybe incoming. Who knows? But again, this is such a positive note to take away for the game. I mean, there are some other stuff where the developers could kind of clean up their act, aka like promoting, communicating about new characters and whatnot. But it does bring me to what is happening tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a big day for BLEACHOB Resonance. If you guys are unaware, if you have forgotten, the live stream is happening tomorrow. That is right, that big old live stream where we are going to get information on potential new content, with what is happening with the game, the issues on hand with the game, what's going on with that, and more importantly, the character lineup. Obviously, we've just had Kenpachi. Right now, with the last information that we had, obviously with Grimmjow, it seems that obviously there's still some issues on hand, so hopefully we'll get more info on what is going on there, and that will obviously give us furthermore confirmation on if Nell will be taking over Grimmjow's spot, or if Grimmjow is actually ready to go and has that approval. We'll have to wait and see on that one. So many things to look forward to, and more importantly, even though we are in the midst of Kenpachi's update, of course, you know, and we are well on our way to the week 2 side of things to then gather more jade and whatnot. Chinese New Year, who knows what they've got more in store for us during this month in February. Obviously, with the second set of character releasing, it's still within February, so there could be a lot of things happening this in particular this month. Now, another thing to kind of also take note is we might potentially get info on a third character, right? Because typically with how they did it last time, it was 3 characters which they kind of previewed, right, in the aspect of Gin, Aizen, Rangoku, of course, Rangoku being an SR, so they could, it might be the case of 2 SSRs, 1 SR potentially, unless they want to do triple SSR. That would be pretty crazy if they do that, of course. So yeah, so we know obviously now Grimmjow, they're kind of like the 2 lined up. Obviously, if Nell does come in next, that will then give them more time to fix up on Grimmjow. Again, I don't understand why the whole transformation was kind of the issue on hand, because obviously we do know that Nell, as it stands right now, we know that apparently from her ultimate symbols that she is a transforming type character. So again, I've spoken about it before and I'll say it again, why give one character transformation and the other is an issue? Baffles me, but hey, approval needs to be made before these characters are released as per usual. So we know about 2, unless they're gonna kind of jump the gun on a certain someone or kind of surprise us to say that, oh, it's this character. Who knows? Because again, at the end of the day, for the most part, we're kind of going off leaks. So I know that Mayuri and Soifuna kind of are in the mix of things, but majority of us are suspecting to say that they're going to be potentially either before or after the half-year anniversary. We'll kind of put it as that, of course. So another thing which obviously will be spoken about during the live stream is about all the leaks. As you guys know, the developers have already spoken about briefly, just briefly, obviously more about it will be spoken during the live stream, is about the leak situation that the game has, how it's affecting the game in a negative manner, and that it's kind of affecting also the relationship with Shueisha, and it's kind of given us, the player base, a little bit of false hope, because of course with the leaks we were suspecting to see Grimjow to be next. Obviously with IP issues, he got delayed, potentially postponed twice as longer, right? Rather than just the character skip being then available next month, right? He could be very well delayed back all the way to March now, which is going to be crazy. But yeah, it's causing a little bit of issues on the developer end, so I'm sure they're going to speak about that and kind of give it a bit of a crackdown. But if anything, I mean, they should just kind of resort to how they were doing it before. Give us a live stream, inform us a bunch of characters that are going to be releasing, and then let us just kind of speculate on which one it's going to be. Now, I don't think leaks are going to go away anytime soon in terms of knowing what the character is doing, so that way we can get an idea on what we're working with. But I think you're doing like a roadmap of some sort. I think that would be pretty nice to have, so that way it won't be too heavy, and that way it also gives us an idea on what to prepare for in terms of, you know, the characters and whatnot. Typing wise, that'll be more so on I guess it'll be a bit of a guessing game, but then again we can still rely on leaks to be like, okay, so this is the typing that they're going to be, let's prepare for that. These are the alternative characters and there are other typing, so let's also kind of prepare for that. So that way we're kind of ready. So I, like myself, obviously Kenpachi released, so I'm actually prepared for red and strike typings, right? Because we know strike DPS is going to be Grimjow. We know Nell is slash support potentially, allegedly. I'm not saying anything. Yeah, that's what that's what the leaks are saying. So even with that, I'm also prepared for slash, because I've got a lot of material saved up for Kenpachi, which I obviously haven't used all of it. So if Nell does drop actually the slash support, I'm chilling. So yeah, in that aspect, it'll help us out. So we'll see on what the developers speak of that, and I do hope that they kind of do a little bit of a roadmap, or if they decide to do live streams more consistently and do an event planner like how they did it before within the game, then we can go about doing it in that route. But yeah, big things to look forward to. But again, what we're looking out for when it comes to during the live stream is new content, upcoming characters, Chinese New Year, and for the most part, just kind of how the game's going, as well as what's going to be happening going forward in terms of I guess the leaks or gaining information ahead of time, you know, what's going to be said about that. But that's, I guess, the main part of all the things that we're going to should be getting, should I say, during the live stream. So that's all kicking off tomorrow, and I think for the most part, when I say tomorrow, I think it's going to be tomorrow morning for us all. So I'd have to look over it during the afternoon when I get back to kind of see what is going on. But I'll peep the live stream so that way I can see in real there and then on what is actually going on, because I do want to see the characters. We are for sure getting some character looks ahead of time, so I'm honestly very much excited to see. Oh, they might also show chapter 10. I forgot. Yeah, we might be progressing now with the game itself, story-wise. So yeah, we might see some Nell information. Nell what? Nell transformation. Unless she's already going to be in her transformation state. That'd be awkward. No, it'll work. I just want to see what the support's going to be like, because that's the one thing which I'm holding out for. Nell support is, you know for a fact, it's going to be in favor of Kenpachi. Oh, we are going to be seeing some devastating numbers now.